my name is Taylor and welcome to AAA Digest. We cover Red Dead Redemption 2 on the channel in the most honest way we can, which is a nice change on YouTube, am I right? But in episode 1 of What We Learned we covered horses, gunplay, the fat children that are in the next installment of Red Dead Redemption, etc. Now we could have anything from 3 episodes of What We Learned up to 10 based on what Rockstar give us with this next trailer. But here we go. Number 1, rival gangs. So obviously we knew the federal government wouldn't be the only threat to Dutch's gang in the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. We get multiple clips of a rival gang and potentially their leader robbing trains and carriages. We get a good close-up of the bearded man in the gameplay trailer as he holds up some train operators. And one thing that can be noted is the fact he's well dressed in comparison to other outlaws throughout the trailer, so their gangs seem to be doing well. So there's a high possibility we'll have this rival gang attempting to beat Arthur Morgan and the rest of Dutch's gang to specific heists or money making opportunities, so not every bank robbery will be simple, yet we'll get much more information regarding rival gangs in the next gameplay showcase. Number 2, stealth is a viable option. So during the trailer we get shots of our leading protagonist Arthur Morgan crouching and sneakily working his way towards the corpse of a deer. In previous trailers we see Arthur stealthily crouching behind an outlaw and stabbing the man with his knife. So thankfully, unlike the majority of Rockstar's games, stealth seems to be more useful and actually viable in Red Dead Redemption 2. We'll have the use of a bow and arrow, a knife to silently execute enemies if we can manage to make our way behind them unnoticed, and we have the option to silently knock out enemies with Arthur's guns. Number 3, Deadeye has multiple ranks similar to RDR1. So during a clip involving Arthur Morgan and Sadie Alder exciting a barn house in order to deal with an ambush involving a Gatling gun, Arthur enters Deadeye. Although seemingly he has the most basic version in this clip, he slows down time and is capable of lining up an easier shot. Although later in the trailer, his version of the Deadeye has seemingly upgraded. It targets enemies and through the press of a button, exits Deadeye and Arthur drops them in quick fashion. So this would point towards multiple ranks for Deadeye, similar to RDR1. As you progress throughout the game, it will improve, which I like. It gives us a sense of progression and it also opens up the possibility of meeting some sharpshooters in the Wild West that teach Arthur a thing or two about how to shoot. As Martin mentioned before, some clothing will actually contribute towards improving Morgan's stats, so a bandana or medallion could contribute towards increasing Deadeye's duration or damage, etc. Number 4, environmental sense. And another nice feature is Arthur has some form of environmental sense which contributes towards hunting. With it activated you can view animal footprints, wound an animal and you can track it by following a trail of its blood that can be seen normally, but through Deadeye the trail will be much easier to detect, leading you straight to the wounded animal in order to finish it off. Number 5, hunting is more in depth. Now similar to RDR1, hunting will play a role in this game and will yet be again another fun side activity for the player. It will be included in missions, give Arthur large cash bonuses and will offer challenges that can be completed as you progress through the game. How you hunt and kill an animal with Arthur Morgan will determine the quality of the meat or pelts. If you happen to lean towards using a bow and arrow to kill your prey, that will be deemed a clean kill. You'll receive higher quality meat, pelts and skins, which will obviously hold a higher value in the eyes of the local store owners, and Pearson the camp's cook will appreciate higher quality meat to feed the camp. Specific animals will be much more difficult to hunt and kill. In RDR1 you'd view your map, see a deer icon, go to that location and blast it into mush with your rifle or pistol, yet with RDR2 we'll be forced to be more tactical. We'll have to venture out into the wild, use a bow or knife, strategically track animals with a Deadeye. It's much more immersive. Also something that is worth noting, the dead actually decay. So if you happen to leave a dead carcass on top of your horse for a specific period of time, then its body will begin to physically decay, which means it will rapidly decline in value. The smell of a decaying carcass will also attract unwanted attention from predators and scavengers. This body decay supposedly also happens to bodies of outlaws and dead NPCs around the world, yet we're still waiting for full confirmation on that one. Number 6, Stranger's missions return. Now the gameplay trailer suggested that special character in particular could be found throughout the world randomly. Each seemed unique and, dare I say it, either very serious or somewhat wacky, similar to RDR1's Strangers, who were missable characters who offered optional missions. But for anyone who took the time to do the side missions, they were extremely memorable and sometimes hilarious. They brought out a very different side to RDR1's protagonist John Marston, so I'm sure they'll do the same with Arthur Morgan. One thing that can be noted is these special side characters who offer side missions, their mission info is highlighted in gold, while standard NPC's interactive info will remain in white, so we the player will be able to determine which NPC is unique and which characters offer optional missions that lead to cutscenes, etc. I don't know about you guys, but I'm so happy these side missions and characters are back. hopefully we bump into some of our old favourites. Number 7, attention to detail. So body imprints are left on the ground. As Arthur is thrown out of Saloon's window, he leaves an imprint in the mud, and Arthur's clothes are freshly stained by the mud. So Morgan's clothes will stain through mud, dirt, blood and more. This will actually lead to feedback from NPCs. Walk into town covered in blood and townsfolk are likely to call the local deputy or sheriff. Dual wielding and the ability to hold larger weapons in one hand while holding a smaller weapon in another, similar Max Payne 3, is in this game. Yet in RDR2, switching from your equipped weapon to your offhand weapon is seamless and extremely smooth when Arthur takes out a group of 3 outlaws, the first with his pistol, and he immediately swaps his double barrel shotgun to finish off the remainder. Arthur is capable of cleaning his weapons, tending to his horse and cleaning his clothes of blood and dirt. And finally, the world reacts to Arthur and the player, including animals and people. But that is the end of episode 2 of what we learned. We'll have another 2 of these when Rockstar releases part 2 of their gameplay video series, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. RDR2 releases October 26th for PS4 and Xbox One, and for more RDR content stay tuned here on AAA Digest.
Like the way you die, boy.